More Missouri voters are expected to cast their ballots in the presidential election this morning. Absentee and mail-in voting started yesterday. You're looking at video from the Kansas City Election Board office where Jackson County voters can cast an in-person absentee ballot. But if you're voting by mail, figuring out whether or not your ballot has to be notarized can be confusing.
Really confusing. So new this morning on 41 Action News today, our consumer IT reporter Kat Reed breaks down who needs a notary and, if you do, how you can find one.
Notary or not, it seems to be causing some confusion in Missouri this election season.
It's not complicated. We are trying to make sure everyone knows their options. That should do not let the fact that we're putting out information like this overwhelm you.
I posed the question on Twitter with a poll asking if the notary requirement has been clearly explained. 70 people voted. 88% said it's about as clear as mud, and only 12% said the rules are crystal clear. So let's go back to the basics. In Missouri, if you don't want to vote in person, there are two different ways you can vote. The first is absentee voting by mail. You'll need to provide an excuse like being at risk for COVID-19 or traveling out of town on election day. The second option is straight mail-in voting, no excuse needed. For non-absentee mail-in voting, a notary is required. For absentee ballots returned by mail, a notary is also required unless you meet one of these two criteria: incapacity or confinement due to an illness or disability, including caring for someone who is incapacitated, or you've contracted COVID or you're in an at-risk category. That includes voters 65 and over and those with certain pre-existing conditions. If you don't fit in those categories, the Secretary of State's office has an online directory of notaries who will help you free of charge. Another resource is called Curbside Notary, offering carside appointments at local coffee shops, restaurants, and breweries.
It's kind of complicated to figure out where to find a notary. It's maybe not even safer if you have to go meet that notary at their house or their office. We'll let them know when it's their turn. They can come up to a table just like this outside of a coffee shop, get their ballot notarized quickly, and they can be on their way.
Their full schedule of events is posted online. I'm consumer IT reporter Kat Reed, 41 Action News Today.
So you'll find the links to those notary websites and deadlines for requesting ballots right now on our website. Keep in mind, if you live in Kansas, mail-in ballots can be returned without a notary or a witness.